Hello student, today we are going to solve one of the most important questions of your MCSL-016 lab paper. So what I have observed in the last 10-year questions paper, that creating form design along with the validation using JavaScript. So this type of questions come every even I could say at 70% times it has been observed, because if you just go and see each and every time, you can see they will be asking you to design a form, right? So you can see even in every question paper I am finding it out that maybe it could be a feedback form, it could be a registration form or any other form, but it is a form. So once you know that how to design the particular form, it is not possible to explain each and every form, but in this class I will just design a form. Once I design a form and validate that form using the JavaScript, then you can by yourself prepare and validate any form, right? So all kind of forms are quite similar. Okay, so whatever form you are going to design, it could be a feedback form, it could be registration form, or any other given form, the thing is quite similar, right? You can see they will just ask you to design this form, and you have to design, and you can see the marks, 30 marks, it's not less. So 30 marks you can get by executing this task perfectly, right? So let us start. So you can see we have a form over here, design a registration form for applying for a job, right? So let us start designing a form. We will design this particular form. Okay, see. So here I will first write HTML, the root tag, head, body, title, inside the title write form, right? So now body. So let us start creating the form. The first thing I have to do, so form, form element. So form element, inside the form element I will take ACTION, action. So here I have to write the action page. So in this particular task I did not require to design the action page. That is a server side scripting language that is used for taking data from the form. That is not required, that has not been asked in this particular question, but I will just mention the name. So let me write here ACRVER, server page dot php. So this will be the action page, right? Server page dot php, and method, method will be post, right? Method will be post. So now we did not require to bother about this thing. So just write action means when the user will click the submit button in that registration form, that means this is the submit button which we have to design. When user will click here, this data will be transferred to the database, or the data will be taken to any other page, right? So how this thing will happen, that is not our tension. So in this particular question, that has not been asked by the examiner to do, right? So only we are asked to design this layout, right? So this page we will mention, right? This is the server page where this data will be carried to. Fine. Now here see first name. So what I will do, I will take a label. Right, now here I will write first name. Right, now input type text. So input type text. Okay, so text input will be accepted. Now so I will just copy the same again for the last name. So here I will write last name. So now let me see how it comes out in the browser. This is how it looks. So I want to get this last name down to the next line. So here I will write br. So once I have written the br tag, you can see it will comes down to the next line. If I add another br, then again it will comes down further. It will take another line. Now here I will add, you can check it out, university. So I have to add the university. Label university. University. Now input select. So you can see, so we have to take the select option, right? So this is the select option. Select option, it will be followed by option. Inside the select we are going to have some options. So A, B, C, university, some name of the universities. So whatever name you can write it over here. D, E, F university, or C, U, J university. Okay, so now check it out how it looks. You can see drop down list we have created. So now again what I will be doing here, I will take it in another line. Here I will add br after the text, so that it will come in different line, a separate line. It will take in next line, so it will come to next line. Right, now another thing that has been asked, you can see academic year. So I'll just copy this thing, I'll put it over here. Right, A, C, A, D, E, M, I, C, Y, E, A, R, year, academic year. So I'll give some year 2022, 2021, 2020. So you can see academic year, we have done academic year, right? So now we will again take it to next line, copy this thing and paste over here, so it will come in next line. Right, just see it will appear in next line. Now address. So now address I have to give address, input type text. So input type text, here I have to give the address, this address field, fine address field. Now where would you like to work. So this is called radio button. You have to add the radio button. Where would you like to work? Again I will take it to another line and I will put radio button inside it. Label now. So where would you like to work? So next line I will add radio button. Input type radio. INPUT type radio. So academic industry. So you can see academic and industry. So you have to add the BR so that it comes in next line, right? So it will come in next line one after another. Let me show you how it appears now. So you can see this is how it will appear. So if I erase one BR from here, so it will just look, it will get one line upside. It will go one line upside. So where would you like to work? So fine. Now submit button. Here I will add the submit button. So let me add BR and input type submit value. What is value? Value means I am defining the value to the input. Value means what will be shown. SUBMIT submit. Input type submit, value will be also submit. So we have created the submit button, right? Fine. Now so the design portion is ready. Whatever we have been asked to design, that is ready. Now we can see submit button enters all the field into the database. So assume this database, this form is connected with the database. If user will click the submit button, the data will be taken to the database. For that we have to write the server side scripting language that has not been asked. So this is the form which you have designed. Now see, use JavaScript to validate each field, right? So without JavaScript we can validate, using JavaScript also we can validate. So the code for validating address input field should check whether the input field is provided with alphabetic character or not. So that it has been asked to check that whether in the address it is a number or alphabet, right? Entry in every field is mandatory. So first we are going to ensure that entry in each and every field are mandatory. How can we ensure? So now if I go and click to the submit button, so you can see, so once we click the submit button, this is the submit button which we are going to click, the action will be taken to this page. As this page has not been created, that particular page is not created, no. So when we are going to click the submit button, see, access has been taken to this particular page, servers page.php, that is not actually available. So this message will be shown. So that is not the matter, that has not been asked to us. So but the problem is that we have to ensure that blank form should not be allowed, right? So to restrict user from just going through the blank data, we will write here required only write required. If you just write required, you can restrict the user from entering blank field. Okay, you can restrict the user from just going through blank form. So how to do that? If I just add in all the input here, not the radio, so in the radio you just have to add a name equal to work. Here also you need to add name equal to work work. So let's see, can we restrict the user from giving blank data, right? So if I now click here submit, you can see, please fill out the fields, right? Now I have to write something, otherwise we can be access the next page. Now again if I click here, so here also have to write some data, please fill out the field, right? So already some data is here available here, so we need not require to bother. So this field is not going to blank, right? These two field. So now if I click here, we have to provide address. So after providing address, we can see, so we can go to next page. But how can we ensure this data? How can we ensure this data? So this is blank, right? So to ensure that nobody should get these two field blank, either we have to tick this or this, any of this. So to ensure that, we will add over here that CHE checked. Now just check it out over here. This is by default checked. This is, you can see, by default will be checked, right? So now if I just click here, so first you have to provide data over here. So if I click here, again I am asking for data. Now these are already filled, so if I don't select any other option, by default the first option will be always selected. So no questions about keeping these two things blank, right? Now you can see I have to put address over here, and this is also fill up, right? Because already I have written here checked for academic. So if user don't select any other option, by default the first one will be selected. So now we can successfully go to next page. This page is not available, but our job is done. So whatever we have been asked in this particular question, that has been solved. This one, in every field is mandatory. Enter, okay, what is written over here? Entry in every field is mandatory. Fine. Now this is not our headache, this has not been asked, this is just written. Okay, this has not been asked. We did not require to create database or server side scripting language, right? Use JavaScript to validate each and every field, right? So we have used the HTML validation. This is called HTML validation required. This required is called HTML validation. Okay, so you can also use JavaScript validation instead of this HTML validation. I will show you how you can do that. So to do that, we have to write so you can, I will just do one thing. So I'll just copy this line from here. This is already written over here. Okay, so in the form, so now I am applying JavaScript validation. So previously I had applied HTML validation, so we can also use the JavaScript validation. Both will work similarly. Okay, so JavaScript validation I will add over here. You can see on submit return validation. On submit return validation. So for that I have to remove all this. So this is HTML validation. Now HTML validation will not be required. HTML validation will not be required. I will, instead of using the HTML validation, I am going to use the JavaScript validation. So now here I will write skipped. Right, skipped. Now inside the skipped, what I will be doing, I have not written yet. So now you can see, if I go, and now you can see, after I have removed the required, that is HTML validation, which I have added previously, all the required that I have removed. Now none of this field is mandatory. I have not applied the JavaScript validation yet. So, and also I have removed all the HTML validation that which I had written previously, required. So now you can see, so data are not there here, but still we can go to next page because no validation is here in this form. Right, now we are going to add JavaScript validation. So let us add the JavaScript validation. So this is the function which we are going to work with. On submit function, this function will only work during submission of the form. This function will work only during the submission of form. Right, so here I will write function function, this one, validation. Right, now so what I will do, I will just get some, I need not require to write everything. I will copy some text over here. So you can see I will copy it. Fine. Now you can see what I will be doing over here, that I will add the ID. To check this particular text field, I have to recognize this particular field. To recognize this particular field, I need to place the ID selector. I will place a ID selector here. Now let me write here FIRST, first name. For using JavaScript, I have to recognize this particular text field. Right, so there are so many text fields. Right, how will I recognize that which text fields, which of the text fields are having data or not? So I need to assign separate ID to each and every text field. So here I have assigned FIRST, first name. Right, now the same ID will be written over here, first name. Okay, now you can see I have taken a variable. The variable name is first name. You may have taken some other variable name. So I have just taken the variable name first name. So this variable will hold data. How this is going to hold data? Document.getElement by ID. This is the syntax for using JavaScript. So I am going to get the data value. This is document.getElement by ID. This is the identified name which we are going to fetch the data. You can see this is the ID, first name. This value I have written over here, first name. Right, first name. That means from this particular field, which will be now recognized by first name, from this particular field I am going to fetch the data. You can see document.getElement by ID. So which ID? This particular ID, and we are going to get the value, dot value. That means we are going to get the value, and this value, this particular value which we are going to get from here, this particular text, where we are going to keep, we are going to store this in this variable first name. Now this variable will hold this data. Right, now here I will just go and check if the data which is stored in this particular variable equal to blank, so there the data which has been stored over here, so can be blank, right? So if the data is blank, then we will be shown a message over here. So it will be written, please insert data in first name, or please provide your first name, right? So just let me execute, let us check. Please provide your first name, right? And another thing I have to add, another thing that we have to add, return false here. That means one let me show you. If I had not placed this return false word, if I don't add over here, then what will happen? Just let me show you. So if I just click the submit button without entering any data, the message will be shown, please provide your first name, right? You can see this variable has been checked whether some data is there or not. No data has been provided, right? No data has been provided. You can see from the text field I have collected the data in this variable, and the variable is checked whether some data is there or blank. This is blank, this means blank. Okay, this means blank. No data has been put over there. That means it is blank, right? If no data has been provided, then this alert message will be shown. So you can see alert message has been shown. Now once I click this alert message, then you can see we are accessing the next page. Now that should not be happen. Alert message has been shown, but after showing the alert message, we are going to access the next page. The next page is opening. We have to restrict. Why the next page is opening? Because by default, it is by default. If user will click the submit button, if user will click this particular submit button, we are going to access this page. So this is by default. That means we have to restrict which is default. See, that means we have to restrict which is default. So what is written over here? Return false. That means returning false means by this particular keyword, returning false, we can restrict the default movement of the form. The default movement of the submitting action default movement is what? We will be taking forward to the next page. We can access the next page. The page which will be written in the action, that page we can access. This is by default. When we are going to click the submit button, that is default action which will be taking forward, right? But by this keyword we can restrict the default action. Now let me show you. Now I will click here, submit, please provide your first name. See, default action has been restricted. So now we have to at least provide data here, then only we can go to the next page, right? Now in same way we are going to validate the last name here, last name. So I will name this as last name. So each and every text field should have unique recognition. Each and every text field must have unique recognition, right? Here, last name, first name, and this input field will be having the ID, that is last name. That means this will be recognized by last name. So again I will take a variable, let me copy this thing. Here I will write last name. Here also I will add last name, right? So the value of the last name text field, from here you can see that value will be stored here in this variable last name, right? And that will be checked. Now here I will write else if else if last last name, this particular variable last name equal to blank, then also this will happen. Then also please provide your last name, and the return will be false, right? Let me check out. Provide first name. Now I have provided first name. Click submit. Provide last name. I have not provided the last name. Now I will provide the last name. Now I can go to the next page. Fine. Understood. Now also we need to validate the address field. This one, address field. So let us validate the address field in same way. So this is the address field. Here I will write ID equal to ADDRESS address, ADDRESS address. Fine. I will just copy this one, paste again, make a variable ADDRESS. So I will take the value from the address field ADDRESS. So I will take the value. This will go and fetch the value from this address field. You can see this particular input text field will be recognized by the ID selector, that is address. So from there, so document.get element by ID, from there it will get the value, right? The value which will be given in the text field, that value it will fetch, and the value will be put it over here in this variable address. Now that will be checked again, right? So here I will write ADDRESS address. If the address is blank, ADDRESS, then please provide your address. ADDRESS. So go and check. Please provide your first name. Write your first name. Please provide your last name. Write your last name. Please provide your address. Provide your address. Now you can see I have just provided my detail to each and every field. This field will have automatic data, this field will also have some data, and here will be data, right? If I click submit, you can go to next page. Fine. So we have learned how we can do the JavaScript validation and also the HTML validation. HTML validation is easy. Just you need to mention required. If you just mention required, then it will automatically validate, because that particular required is a library word, so it will do all the functions. But as it has been asked in the question to use the JavaScript validation to validate a field, that is why I have written this JavaScript program to validate each and every field, right? So you can see here in some other form, one thing that has been asked, I will show you, that reset button. So you can see I will not design each and every form, but I will show you this reset button. So reset button remove all the entered data in the text field. So let me show you by adding the reset button. So here I will add the reset button here, just below the submit button, or side, just in the right side of the submit button I will add here I will write BUTTON button, reset button, right? So you can see I have created a reset button. So when the user will click the reset button, so whatever data that will be there, so all the data will be reset. That means the data will be removed. How can that be possible, right? How can that be possible? So to make that possible, what I will be doing over here, just see. So here we have to write a function here. So the reset button I will add just below the form, just below the form. Form is ending over here, just below the form I will add reset, below the form. Okay, just below the form here I have added the reset button, right? Now see what I will be doing now, just check out. So here I will add on click function, right? So the function name will be delete. So I have given a function name on click function function delete. Or let me just write on click delete. Okay, same ONCLICK on click. Remove. Okay, on. So I have given the name remove. It will remove the data, no, because there are some reserved keyword. Delete is a reserved keyword, reset is a reserved keyword. We can't use reserved keyword to give user defined name. We can't use the reserved keyword for the using user defined name. So this is not a reserved keyword, remove. So I have given the name remove, right? Now this is the function name. Now here I will take another function, function function remove, remove, right? Here see, for the remove function what I will be doing, if this remove function will take part, then this value see last name address. So you can see whatever value will be there in those text field. So the text field which is recognized by first name, the text field which is recognized by last name, and the text field which is recognized by address, whatever value will be there in those text field will be blank, will be just blank, right? Let me show you. So first I will put data, right? Now I will just click here reset, right? See, reset, blank. So fine, I have also shown you, if you are asked to use this reset, how you can use, right? Let me see what something more which I can show you, if anything more is there or not. You can see for password the code should check whether the length of the password is between 8 to 12, otherwise it should alert. Let me show you this thing. So I will do one thing, I will add another label over here. Right, let me name this as password. Input type password. So for this input field I will give ID selector pass, right, pass. Let me see this thing we have created. Right now we are going to check this. So inside this function we are going to check. Why? Because that particular field is nowhere, but that is inside this form, and in the form we have this particular function which is working, that is return validation function. That means by using this function we can easily check. So we have to write the code inside this only, right, this first bracket opening and closing. So here I will first copy whatever data that is provided over there. So pass, right, so you can see this is how this text field will be recognized by this pass, and the variable name will be anything. You can give any variable name, and I will give pass. The variable name that I would like to give, that is pass. Fine. Okay, now we have to check the length, right? So how can we check the length? Without using JavaScript, you can also execute the function by max and minimum length option. See, so let not use JavaScript. See here, we can just simply write max length 12, right, and minimum length 8. So max length, and so let me just check out how minimum length can be obtained. Minimum length. So first let me show you how the max length work. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, now if I write only I can enter maximum of 12 character. I am trying to place more and more key, but it is not working. So you can see the cursor has stopped after going and typing 12 character. So it will not take more than 12 character, right? This is how this max length is working. This is called max length. Okay, there is also another minimum length, but that is not working now. This is called HTML validation for length. You can also do JavaScript validation. So let me show you the JavaScript validation. Just go and see. So here we are going to just do the JavaScript length. So how to know the length? This is how you can know the length. Just see. So now here I will write password length. So now how we are going to calculate the length? See, I have taken another variable, that is password. In this password we are going to calculate the length of this variable. So this variable holding, this PASS variable is holding the data which the user will provide in this field. So in this field I have given the ID pass. So this is how this field will be recognized by the ID PASS. So that is why the data will be fetched from that field, right? And the data will be put into this variable PASS, right? And this PASS dot length, right? That means we are going to calculate the length of this variable, and that particular data will be put into this password, that is number of character. The number of character of this variable, how many character that has been provided into that particular variable, that will be put into this password. This is another variable, right? Now we are going to check this particular variable, right? Or instead we can do in different way. See, I will just write here bracket here dot length, length. Okay, now this thing is not required. So now here you can see we are going to calculate the length of whatever value we are going to obtain from this input field. We are going to calculate the length only, and that particular length we are going to put it into this PASS variable. So in single line we have calculated, right? In both way we can do, into separate line or in single line, right? We can do it. Now we are going to check here, else if pass equal to less than, if pass, that means the number, it will not hold the value, it will hold the number. It could be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means the length of the value which the user will provide over here. This pass will hold the length of the value which the user will provide over here, right? Because this is the value will be converted to length. So now this variable will hold the length, that is the number of character. So if that particular length of the character is less than 8, now message will be shown minimum 8 character, right? So let me check out. First write the first name, second name, address. Now if I click submit, minimum 8 character. So I have to give at least minimum of 8 character. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minimum 8 character. So if I give more than 8 character, then also it will work, right? Now as we have been asked in the question that minimum of 8 character and maximum of 12 character, right? Then now we have to validate for the maximum one, right? Now for that we are going to write here if password greater than 12. This is called OR. Okay, OR. Now in the single line, two condition will be checked. If the password is less than 8 character, then this message will be shown. If the or otherwise, if the password is more than 12 character, then also this message will be shown. So I have to just change the message, minimum of 8 character and maximum of 12, right? So this condition will be checked first if the password is less than 8 character or password is more than 8 character. In both the cases this will be shown, right? Otherwise this will not be shown. This message will not be shown. Let me check out now. Provide first name. Now password will be just 2 character, 3 character. Let me check. Submit. You can see message has been shown. Now if I write long password, this is more than 12, right? Again this message has been shown. Now if I write a password which is exactly between 8 to 12 character, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 character. 10 is between 8 and 12. So if I click submit button, we can go to next page, right? So we have learned how to use JavaScript validation to validate each and every field, how to use this reset button, how to use the length function that we have learned for the password, right? So whatever question will be asked, you can easily solve. I hope. So just let me just once find out if something else will be given to you or not. Okay, so in this particular video I have taught you few things. I think this will be enough. In next video I will come up with some new solution. I will go and check in this question paper what I could teach you more. Okay, so what I could teach you more, I will just go and check out in this question paper, because you can see this many number of pages we have, this many questions. So I have downloaded lot of questions to see whatever I can help you out. So I hope you have understood. So let me wrap up the class for today. Thank you.